This conference will now be recorded.
We got 6 o'clock. I'll call the meeting to order. We'll start with the Pledge of Allegiance. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. I believe we don't have any amendments to the agenda, so just need approval of the agenda.
Make that motion to approve the agenda.
Any further discussions? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Passes 4-0-0. We'll review the minutes from a regular meeting of January 2nd. We do have to make one change. We need to remove Matt Rockney from the Planning and Commission appointees and make that open. In the last meeting, it had it still in there, but we forgot to delete that out, so it's an open spot. It's only changed from the minutes from January 2nd.
I'll make a motion to approve the minutes as amended.
I'll second that.
Any further discussions? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Passes 4-0-0. Bob Prigge, accounts payable.
I just wanted to highlight a few of them. First one was 81122. That was for our bond payment with a 2021 A bond of $160,297.50. 81148, League of Minnesota Cities for dues of $5,182. Police Department had Lexipol dues, number 81149 for $5,501.13. We also had 81159 for Minnesota Utilities, Municipal Utilities Association dues for $7,843.80. One of them was our new squad for $43,301.94. We had ambulance dues of $65,205. And the last one to mention was the Northwest Asphalt payment number 3 request for $145,979.42. Any questions? If there are no questions, I'd give a motion to approve the accounts payable for $488,497.19.
I'll second that.
Any further discussions? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Passes 4-0-0. Thanks, Bob. We'll open the public comments portion. Individuals may address the city council about any items of concern. Speakers must state their name and limit the remarks to 5 minutes. Any public comments? I will close the public comment portion and we'll jump to a consent agenda. All items listed in the consent agenda are considered routine by the council and will be approved by one motion. There will be no separate discussion on these items unless council member requests, in which case the item will be removed from the consent agenda and be considered in its normal sequence on the agenda. I don't think there's anything crazy on there.
I'll make a motion to approve that consent agenda.
Perfect.
I'll second that.
Any further discussions? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Passes 4-0-0. Let's jump down to new business. 8A, police officer requisition. Chief.
So today we want to recognize Officer Shannon Clemenson, who had the honor and the privilege to help in the delivery of baby Walters. And the Walters family is here also to join in this. And the baby's name is Imago Day Walters. And so on 12/17, Officer Clemenson assisted in this delivery of Imago Day Emmanuel Walters. And we would like to recognize this because it doesn't happen very often where the police are involved in that. And it's kind of considered unusual for activity. So it happens only to a few that are on duty. But it does happen probably almost every day as far as we know. So we want to recognize it. And one of the things we can do is we can authorize the wearing of a ribbon on her uniform that signifies that she assisted in a delivery of a baby. So I've got a little certificate here that has all the particulars on it. And so it has the delivery date of 12/17, the report number, and the baby's name on it. So she will have something to remember this by for the rest of her life. So Shannon, why don't you come on up here? I got the certificate for you. And I have this cute little ribbon with some storks on it. So this is something that you'll be able to place on your uniform. And if we could get a photograph opportunity with the Walters family, I think that would be great and memorable for all here. So.
What date was that again, Chief?
December 17th? That would be correct, right?
4 a.m.?
4 a.m. So we can get maybe a nice picture of you guys and your entire family.
Like, oh, it's good. That's usually our photo op, right?
Or if there's TV cameras, right, Ted?
Yeah. All right. Awesome. Well, thank you.
Yes.
Congratulations.
Just want to say congratulations to Shannon and then the Walters family on, looks like you got a couple kids, so. Thanks, Chief. 8B, 2024 Zumbrota Police Department Annual Report. Chief.
You bet. And for guests, you don't need to be bored by this.
Yeah.
We do appreciate you taking the time to come and support this recognition. So in front of you, you have a copy of our annual police report. A little different this year. Sergeant Pasquale said, hey, well, how about you let my communications degree help kick this in a little bit, which is good to have. And so he gave me a template that I was able to use. And so there's a number of things that we were able to highlight that happened throughout 2024. So there's a lot of information about just our demographics of our department and what has happened, as well as some of the particular incidents that we were involved in that we wanted to highlight. You certainly can read through those things. We wanted to highlight some information about the Gary Schroeder Memorial project that we're working on, as well as some other fun things that have happened, National Night Out and things of that nature. As you can see in the actual data for 2024, our calls for service, we weren't that far off, even though we didn't have the same amount of staff. We had less staff. The calls for service really didn't change very much. We didn't have any robberies really to speak of. And so this really kind of highlights all the different types of calls for service. There's some work involved for me to really count all this stuff. I print off a report that comes off of our CIS program that we use for our report writing. And so I'm able to get a total by just saying, what's the number here from 1/1 to 12/31 that gives me calls for service, how many ICRs that were created. And so that's the total number. And then ultimately, I'm able to break it down by the activity types that we respond to. And so I didn't see anything that stood out as unusual, any particular spikes. I would like to say that, again, though, our burglary rate is low. Compared to when I first started here, it was quite high. And I attribute that to proactive policing, being out there and, because we weren't 24 hours at that time. And so having that ability to be anywhere at any point kind of helps as a deterrent. And then I have some graphs. So a couple of the things that we have to do through NIVERS is certain types of offenses have to be reported to the FBI. So there's Part A, Part B offenses. And so the graphs that are available to you give you more of a visual to kind of give you an idea of the slice of pie that certain types of offenses happen under. And so, again, nothing really stood out. Our traffic citations and stuff were pretty much, our traffic enforcement was still pretty much on par. We're still pretty active with the TZD program. And traffic offenses, it's no surprise that speeding is probably the #1 violation. And let's see, I think that's really all I have. Unless you have questions about anything in the report.
Matt, what falls under community engagement?
So community engagement, there is, so that category involves any time that we just ultimately engage with the community in a non-enforcement capacity. So, going to the basketball games, that's a community engagement. If we're doing coffee with a cop like we're doing tomorrow at 8 a.m. at Bridget's, so if you want some coffee with us, we're there from 8 to 10. Please come. That's a community engagement. When we're doing the Shop the Block event that they do, that first Thursday Shop the Block, that's a community engagement. So it's things like that. So it just, that way, they didn't capture that stuff before. And this is a newer category. In fact, I think they started community engagement. We were able to actually put some stuff back in the past, but it's kind of more utilized. We're capturing more of it. So if we're going to go out to the school, like I know Tony assisted the medics when they were teaching a class for the public safety class, and that's going to be considered a community engagement. It doesn't fit in a typical activity, so that's what it does.
Yeah, and that's up, and I think that's important. We talk about that often in a small town, how we need to get out there with the citizens, being involved. So it's good to see that number going up.
Yep, and we've really, really increased our exposure in those areas, as you can see. And that's important for us to be able to do that. And I mean, it's part of the community policing, We don't hear that term as much today. Community engagement is kind of the newer term, and it's just more of just interaction. It's non-enforcement activity. It's often educational things. I think one of the community engagements was a couple of years ago where some of the officers were doing PBT testing at bars. If you remember, they were offering this as, hey, come and learn what we do and what being under the influence could look like and how we process it. And you might be surprised. That would be considered a community engagement, non-enforcement, educational. So And it's one of the bigger numbers in our activities in all reality. So other than assist of other authorities, we certainly do a lot of that.
Assist other authority, but that's like going to,
So if we assist the county on a call, state patrol on a call, if I assist any agency in the state, so we get phone calls often from other states looking for information or reports, or if it's the federal government, you know, if I got to pull an ICR number to do a local check for someone for a gun permit, that's going to assist that agency. It's not our call, so that would fall under that as well. But a lot of this is backing up the county, backing up the state, so forth. They do the same thing. They do AOAs is what we call it. So I'm sure their numbers are quite high as well.
One of my favorite pictures. Tony got in the way though.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah, there was some good photographic opportunities with the Northern Lights this year. There's no doubt about that. And those guys working overnight got to see some of the best shows that nature has provided, so.
Perfect. Any questions for Chief on the report?
you got that radar trailer, how's that been, has it been helped much at all? I haven't seen it around very much.
Yeah, we have put it out a number of times, and so it has been there since the first week of January, so it's still sitting in our shop right now. But we have utilized it to mostly run some tests. There hasn't been anything like unusual with it, and to just be out there so people see it.
Yeah, I've seen it out 2 or 3.
But we're gonna get it out more, right?
Yep, absolutely.
Had to get things up and running. There were some programming.
Yeah, we had some
Issues.
programming issues to start to make sure that it was doing the actions that we want it to do, mostly pre-warning stuff. So if you're coming in a little hot, it does this. If it's even hotter, it does this. And we wanted to make sure it did that because it wasn't when we first got it. So we had to work out a bunch of bugs. But
So I see in a stoplight, I mean, is there a certain, like one of these, when you said it coming in hot, I mean, it's more data, but do they make these with, I mean, in intersections, if you're speeding and go through a red light, they'll take a picture of your
yeah,
light.
those are stoplight cameras is what they call them. And they're not, statutorily, they're not allowed yet. So Minnesota doesn't use them. There's been discussion that they might start using them and passing some laws in Minneapolis to use that type of stuff. But then, I mean, that's city-owned property. It's basically LPR, license plate reading, radar and cameras, and it can do that stuff. But, you know, we'd have to own that. It ain't cheap. And it's so far hasn't been really put out there in this state. It's popular in other states.
Any more questions for Chief? Thanks, Chief, for the report. Thanks, the department. I know we got Officer Curtis and Officer Clemenson here. You guys do a great job, and I appreciate it all. Thanks, Chief.
All right.
8C, fit up quote for the 2025 Ford Explorer. Chief,
Standing right here.
you got the show.
So, as you know, we were able to acquire the Ford Explorer this time, and with that, EATI, who outfitted our vehicles, you know, initially we were supposed to get a Ford for 2024 or 2023, and that didn't happen. And so we had to order the parts for that. Some of them didn't fit the Dodge because Ford canceled us. And so they had a bunch of parts we already paid for. And so I had EATI work up a quote, including the parts they still have that still actually do fit this new Cruiser. So it's a lot lower than it normally is. So, and of course, we're not buying any specific equipment like a new radar, a new video system, or a new radio system. Those are the top 3 high ticket items. Those things are 3,000 up. So I think the cheapest thing is the radar, and that's about $3,000 everything else goes up from there. But all that is able to switch over to the new cruiser. And so they worked up a quote. I know Sergeant Pasquale, he's got something worked out with a competitor of EATI. And he's getting light bars from this organization, retrofitting them, making them functional, and he can resell them. So he's reselling us a light bar, or the light bar for this unit, and the proceeds that he receives is going to the Schroeder Memorial. So that's the agreement that he worked out, and it'll ultimately be recognized by Guardian, which is the other outfitter. So, and they wanted to participate in that manner, and that's Tony talked him into it. I had nothing to do with that, but, so we saved a little bit of money on the overhead light. So we're buying a used one for that, which is still pretty new in comparison. And then the outfitting on that will be sometime in June. Yep.
I'll make the motion to approve the EATI quote for the new squad.
I'll second.
Any further discussions? All in favor? Opposed? Passes 4-0-0. Thanks, chief.
You bet.
One more quick thing, work session. When we'd like to do the next, do we want to do it February or do you want to do it first part of March?
Well, it's up to you. You had kind of mentioned it, so I put it on here, and we could wait till March. I think were we doing second Wednesday, so we're not on the same week as, of course, then you're in here for 3 weeks in a row for meetings, but.
Anybody have any opinions on what works? I mean, the first thing that comes out would be March 11th.
Yeah, we don't have anything pressing that we have to do February right now.
No.
And I would say March.
No, Brian and I just have a couple topics just to kind of start talking about and stuff like that. So that work for you, Fred, March 11th? That work for you?
That's a Tuesday.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
Tuesday, is that what we
Sure.
want? That's
Yeah.
fine with me.
Yeah, so
Oh,
How about, what's the Wednesday? Is the Wednesday got
you're
anything?
right.
how about the 4th? Do we, what do you?
Fourth should be okay. Let's see. No, Zeba's in here then. We can preempt them.
Well, I would think so.
What is it?
Tuesday the 4th?
I'm gonna be gone then. I'll be back on the
Yeah,
5th.
that's kind of why we don't have any meetings in here on Wednesdays. That's kind of why I suggested Wednesdays, but if that doesn't work.
Oh. How about Wednesday, the 26th of February?
There's an ambulance meeting. Not in here though, but,
Kevin would be.
well, if you want to go into March, you could start in March, like March 5th
Because we have no meetings that
or
week.
March 12th. I mean, that'd be the second Wednesday.
March 12th,
March 12th will work.
Fred? March 12th, 5:30 to 7?
Okay.
So we'll set up a work session March 5th.
March 12th.
March 12th.
Sorry, March 12th.
You're just going to set one? and then
Yeah,
set
let's
another
just do one,
Okay.
yeah.
Yep.
Because then we're probably not too far from after that, starting budget talks again.
That's right.
So work session will be March 12th, 5:37 at City Hall. I just need a motion and a second to approve that.
I'll make that motion.
I'll second that.
Any further discussions? All in favor? Opposed? Passes 4-0-0. Reports. Brian?
Well, we had all the new flooring in, brand new flooring in City Hall and in council chambers, so it looks nice. The blinds will be coming. We painted below the chair rail here. This color is called agreeable gray. Agrees with everything, of course. The reds and the tan chairs. Yeah, and flooring in City Hall, stop in to see it. It's nice. It'll last a long time, so we're gonna be done with that. No more of the rolling up carpet that we had in there. And of course, the police station is way worse. We're just looking for a date. You should be getting an email now from the carpet place to set a date. The pool committee, I've been working on, there's been a few more donations. I don't know if I can announce the newest couple or not yet. And then we're going to go visit with some of the bigger businesses here real soon. The committee is going to do that. We go along for moral support because we can't fundraise. I think that's it.
You just getting blinds for this here.
Yeah, there'll be blinds on all those windows. Those things are,
Oh, I thought those were coming out.
And new
They are.
windows, yeah.
Yeah.
We're just waiting for Ruben.
they'll be coming. Oh, yeah, that's right. The doors will be coming out.
So you don't have blinds coming in.
And then, well, we'll want blinds because meetings during the day, you got to close those. Otherwise, there's such a glare. So then we'll have blinds just like this. It'll just be windows instead of doors in those two locations. It'll look the same. It just won't have knobs.
Oh, okay. I thought it was maybe smaller windows.
Nope, just same size. There'll be plenty of light during the day, unless we got to close the blinds or, keep the same look basically, rather than change the architectural features of the building.
Is that it? Perfect. Mike, do you have anything to comment?
I don't. I was listening. That's cool. A police officer delivered a baby. That's cool. I don't have anything else.
Perfect. And each week I'll ask you too, just to give you the heads up, see if you have anything to add, just to make sure you're still awake.
I'm awake.
Sounds good. Thanks, Mike.
My daughter's having twins. I know who to call.
Chief, you have anything else to add? Curtis?
Yeah. I believe I told the
Yeah, I know.
board of the EDA granted a loan to Anderson Vet Clinic veterinarians, and they've kind of formed a conglomeration called MN Associates LLC to buy land. It's Webster and Son land on North Main, right before Walnut Street, to hopefully expand or move their vet clinic there to service small and large animals. And one of the reasons why the EDA went after this or helped them out was to keep the business local. They're very popular vet clinic. They service an entire area and people are coming to Zumbrota for that. And so we issued the check today. We got the purchase order, issued the check. EDA would like to thank Kim Simonson and Miranda Rash for all their work this morning in issuing the check because the director of the EDA was not here. And that's it. If you have any questions, please let me know.
Thanks, Kurt. Kim?
How much was the check? The check was for $116,820. Yeah. And it's out of the revolving loan fund.
They had a low interest rate. Is that a 10-year? Yeah.
3%.
Perfect. Thanks, Kurt. Kim? Mike? I have nothing. Bob? Nothing tonight. Joan? Meeting adjourned. Now I get to go sit in the basketball game.